People around Melbourne have started getting used to the new normal, as restrictions have begun easing, allowing many businesses to open and for all of us to physically connect in ways we haven't been able to for months. The biggest surprise, of course, was for many businesses who didn't think they were going to be able to open their doors until December, and are now starting to trade, following health guidelines and regulations, of course.
It was quite a shock. We expected something, but we were thinking maybe further down the track in November. And I think a lot of businesses kind of freaked out. And then we really got the confidence from dealing with someone from DHHS, and we were just able to really go, okay, cool, this is what it means. There was a bit of confusion about, were we limited in tables outside and all that sort of thing. It was like, no, as many tables as we can fit outside, up to our square meterage so we can fit 45 people in. We've actually kind of transformed the beer garden a bit by putting all these tables and stools out there, making it a nice seated area, and it's quite a good little atmosphere out here now.
The Laird opened for trade on Thursday, but did a private dry run on Saturday night, so they could not only figure out how the regulations would work, but troubleshoot any problems that could arise.
We worked with the right people and got a lot of the advice from the right people, so it gave us the confidence to do that dark opening on the Saturday and really test out our area the way that we'd mapped it out, seated tables, our entry. 45 people is nowhere near what we'd usually have in the beer garden, maybe on a Sunday. So it was very much doable with, just getting the bar staff, the one person to do the bar, having me on the door and things like that, and having our person going around and wiping everything and doing all the sanitisation that needs to be done. So yeah, it worked really well. It was smooth, and it was just really lovely to hear that. Later in the night, I could just hear the chatter. I was down the end of the alley at the check-in spot, and to hear the chatter and laughter come down, it was quite foreign. It was a little bit, I did tear up a little bit, but it was kind of foreign. And then I realised this is just people having fun again, out mingling and things. It was really good. Stand up, mask on, no drinking, sit down, mask off, drinking. It's quite simple. And just common sense with things like if you need to go to the toilets and you notice there's some people waiting, then you just wait a little bit longer. At the bar as well, we don't want too many people lining up, so we've got the marked out areas where people can stand. So just wait a couple of minutes, and it's only 45 people. You'll get your turn to go and get a drink.
Things are a little bit different for businesses without an outdoor space, but Pride of our Footscray have soldiered on, opening up this week.
As soon as we closed, we didn't know whether it was going to be a month or 3 months or 6 months. But this barman just started painting all the walls and then painted the floor. So the place looks amazing. Like last week when Dan said the good news and, you can go back and you can open tomorrow, we still had a heap to do. So the rooms are very separate, so we can have 20, but that main beautiful stage room is quite big. So we had a capacity crowd of 10 in this giant room last night, which was just remarkable to see. But it's such an unusual experience. You're basically getting a private drag show for 10 people in this big space, and it's just surreal. Like, it's just another 2020 story. We weren't allowed to bring back drag queens this week. You're not allowed to have any performing arts yet. So we had Aurora privately by herself in a karaoke room, and then we broadcast Aurora to both of the rooms, all on Zoom, all zoomed within the venue. There's a lot of goodwill involved and humour, and everyone had a good night.
Indoor restrictions are way too much for us to even bother doing inside at the moment, because it means it would have to be a separate bar to outside, it would have to be a separate bar, separate toilet, separate entry, and that's a whole lot of stuff to do just to have 10 people inside the bar. So we're sticking with the beer garden for the first month at least, or if things change on the 8th.
But everyone and every business isn't sharing the excitement of others of being able to open this week, because not everyone can. Depending on what your business is or the size of it, the limitations of the number of people that you can have within your space while open have made it impossible for some businesses to even do that, open their doors. Not every business is able to get access out on the street to be able to organise drinking during summer. And for many of us, even though they've pivoted in this tough time, they honestly don't know if they're going to be able to make it to the end of the year. So it's not over yet.
I know that most of Melbourne is grateful to see some of their favourite haunts open, but for a lot of us, including the 86, we're not open because we can't open and run this venue for 10 people inside. I don't think the community really have to step up here. I think, in all honesty, the community has been wonderful. Those in the area of Fitzroy have made themselves available to come and support our little pop-up here and have shared our posts online, and the community have been great. But right now we need some help from the bureaucrats, from state government and local council to think outside the square and go above and beyond to help our business survive, because getting through this summer is going to be really hard without the bureaucrats on board and really going above and beyond to ensure the longevity of venues such as the 86 and so many other venues that are falling through the cracks.
For us, for Pride, we survive with people buying, t-shirts or caps or beanies, bingo tickets every week or every couple of weeks, and we survive just on that community support, little donations for 6 months, which was just an incredible effort because we're still pretty new. We only had 2 years, so we closed at a very vulnerable time. Our great community kept us alive for 6 months, and then it was getting very difficult, and then the government stepped in and basically saved us with a grant. Like coming back last night, we felt very blessed and fortunate to be back, and we wouldn't have been back unless our community had supported us for the 6 months to enable us to even be there to get the government grant. So yeah, the community support has been remarkable, and I hope that all the venues within their communities are going to get that, especially if they can get some people in front of a stage next week or the week after, hopefully. So it's easy to say, but I hope that everybody holds on and has time for people to come and provide that support.